They want me to change, but I ain't changing. Nah, I remain the same.
And you are now tuned into another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, brought to you by M3S3 Clothing. Men make moves and suckers stand still. And as always, on the mighty Nerve DJs Radio Network. Shout out to the whole family. Shout out to DJ Johnny O, Big Hef, T-Rex, DJ Squirt. Y'all already know, man. Shout out to my guy Fred, man, from M3S3 Clothing, man. Been rocking with Fred for a minute, man. Very dope. And salute to you. And Malcolm-Jamal Warner will definitely be in the house. You know what's crazy? Like, I just got a text from Malcolm-Jamal Warner. That's just fucking from Theo, nigga. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, just text me. Yo, it's fucking crazy. Yo, but he's gonna be about 5 minutes late. So, I think I've waited long enough for this interview. Another 5 minutes is not gonna hurt me. Shout out to you, man. I'm hoping you're having a good day, and hopefully we can make your shit great. And if you're having a bad one, you know, maybe we can do it, make it a little better. Shout out to my cuz, man. Yo, it's hot as fuck. So if I stumble a little bit, I'm sweating. Like, I don't even have my hat on. I usually hat fish y'all and shit. I'm burning up, and I'm in the basement, and it's like 3,000 degrees down here. I got lights on and shit. That's the way you're supposed to do it. But yo, it's hot as hell, man. And have you seen what is that movie? They cloned Tyrone. Yo, and I do want to talk to Malcolm about that too. But yo, I watched that yesterday, and absolutely a really, really dope movie. Like, I was thoroughly impressed with the whole movie. I laughed, I was angry, I'm still thinking about it, and the potential for reality is there. And they've been telling us what's gonna happen in the movies for years, and television, and kind of getting us prepared. I mean, look at this shit with the aliens. My man literally gets on TV and admits that they have found not only an alien ship, but actual alien life form on Earth, and that shit don't even make a ripple in the news cycle. We don't even care. That's how crazy shit has gotten. Is that my whole life I've been telling people it's aliens on this planet, and how can we be so selfish or so egotistical as a species to think that we're the only planet in the solar system that has life forms on it. And we have found out what I've been thinking this whole time. There's actually fucking alien life form, and nobody cares. That's how wild shit is, man. So, and I'm not gonna go too deep into the whole movie for those people that haven't seen it. I don't want to ruin it for you. But yo, you have absolutely got to watch that movie. And that's like something that I might just do a show on for people that have watched that movie. It's that lit. It's very, 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 very good. I don't know who wrote the movie or directed it. But Jamie Foxx is in it. And yo, Jamie is a hell of an actor. Yo, and it was dope seeing the brother, looking healthy-ish. And for those people that think that he was cloned, I don't know if you've ever spent time actually in the hospital, but you absolutely lose weight. Your skin tone changes. It definitely has an effect on your personality, your person, completely. So I'm not really, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I think my shit is only to an extent. I don't get too far. And while I'm at it, since we're talking about, news of the day per se. I'm glad to see that LeBron James' son is out the hospital and back home with his family. I don't want to get off into the what I think as far as what happened. It's horrible to hear that a young man his age, and with his athleticism, had a heart attack. And coming from somebody that's had a heart attack before, the doctors were surprised that I had a heart attack, and I was I'm 51, so I was 48. I was too young to have a heart attack, so him having a heart attack is extremely unusual. Oddly though, not necessarily for USC basketball, because apparently another individual had a heart attack at USC. I want to say a year ago. Do with that information what you will. They cloned Tyrone director Jewel Taylor. Shout out to my cousin Marsha, and happy belated birthday to you. I must admit, man, I got some really dope cousins, man. And just kind of like a moment for me. I've been trying to get this interview for probably a year. And like my mom's was my biggest supporter. It didn't matter what the hell I was doing. If I was playing fucking marbles, life, Monopoly, unless we were playing together, because my mother was hella competitive. But she was just absolutely my biggest supporter in whatever endeavor I decided to do. And she's not with me anymore. And so when he hit me back and was like, okay, yeah, let's set a date. Okay, bam. All right. And everything was finalized. Sent him the flyer. He liked the flyer. Okay, let's go. I wanted to call my mother. And obviously I couldn't. So I called my cousin Dion. And like and not just Dion as far as support. Like my cousins, I've got a handful of cousins that have just been my fucking rock over the years. And Marsha is one of them. And let me get off my soapbox, man, because we have got maybe the legend of my generation. I mean, from Theo to Dr. Austin, from movies, author, father, just an overall dope ass black man. I mean, when I say legend, I mean legend in the absolute sense of the word. When I say decades of putting in work, he is what black men aspire to be and black women want. Let me introduce y'all. Let's see, I'm fucking up. Introduce y'all to Malcolm-Jamal Warner. How you doing, King? I can't hear you, bruh. Dope. I can see you though. You look dope. Got the is that good? Is that a guitar?
All right, how's that?
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, sweet.
Except you got a echo. Is that a Tribe shirt?
Yes, sir.
Oh God, man. Tribe is so dope.
I don't know if you got my text.
I did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I responded.
Oh, I didn't see. Okay, how's that better?
Yes, it absolutely is.
Okay, cool.
That is perfect. How you
Do you
doing,
need me to
bro?
come up? Did my volume need to come up? Anything?
Actually, I think you're pretty good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. How you doing, man? How's your family?
Hey, man, life is good. It's adulting is a real thing. It's real.
Yo, you have made being a black man look so fucking dope, bruh.
Oh, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that, brother.
You know what's wild though? Hearing you curse.
Hear me curse? Did I curse?
No, you didn't. On Hiding in Plain View. I'm listening. I'm jamming. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Did Malcolm-Jamal Warner just say fuck? Or motherfucker? I'm like, I was thoroughly surprised. But yo, bruh, why we on that? And I know we got a lot of shit to talk about.
Yeah.
Bruh, that shit is Dope is so dope. I've probably listened to that 50 times in the last 3 days.
Word. I appreciate that, man.
Did you
I
produce
appreciate
that?
that. Yeah, I did. I did most of the production on that. So How Do You Plan You is my fourth album.
Okay.
And this is the one where I decided to do to tackle the production myself. It started out as my quarantine lockdown project,
Okay.
and I never finished the record. Like I kind of self sabotaged myself. I was going to do like an EP, and then when I was going to do a 5-song EP, I got the 5 joints done, and then I was like, let me add 2 more songs, and then just life got in the way, and the project never got finished. And then last year, when the Grammys opened up a separate spoken word poetry category, because prior spoken word included poetry, audiobooks, speeches, comedy albums, and anytime a poetry album was nominated, it would lose to an audiobook. Like Sekou Anderson, Sekou Andrews
Okay.
had a poetry album that was nominated, but Michelle Obama won for her audiobook. You know, the year before, Jay Ivy was nominated, but Don Cheadle won for a narration he did on the John Lewis film. So last year, the Grammys finally opened up after years of us campaigning. They finally opened up a spoken word poetry category. So that's what really made me finish the album, because I was like, I gotta throw my hat in. So
I didn't see a
I
video for anything though.
No, because I mean, you know, hey man, my all of my music is funded out of pocket, so I didn't really have video budget
Come on, bro.
to
You
put
gotta
out
tell
there.
me that if Malcolm-Jamal Warner did an Instagram and said, "Hey, I need somebody to do a video for me free of charge," you'd have 1,000 people lined up wanting to do it.
Maybe so. I never went that route. Never, I never went there. And then also, when I put by the time I finished the record just before I submitted it, just in time
Okay.
for the Grammy. So the album got a Grammy nomination.
Okay.
And for me, it was really about getting the record out, getting it out in time for the Grammys, but all the message that I needed to get out. And I still think, you know, what I try to do with all of my albums is make timeless music. So I can always go back and shoot a video to any of those joints. One of the pieces I actually want to do make a short film out of the So I Run.
Yes.
I want to do a short film of that. So again, the music is timeless. It's evergreen. So I'm not chasing fads. I'm not chasing radio play. So I can, there's no time constraint on when I put a video out for any of those pieces.
Okay. And I'll move on after this, but why not? Because you are the perfect spokesperson for spoken word.
Sure.
And wouldn't you be doing those artists that missed out over the last couple of years a huge favor by putting that spotlight on the whole genre?
Well, I mean, there is Jay Ivy, who actually won the Grammy this past year. Jay Ivy, I mean, he started out, he was on Kanye's first album. Jay Ivy, he wrote and produced the what is it, the Yeezus, with that Kanye's documentary that got all that love. Like I said,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I mean, there's Talam AC, Sonny Patterson, Amir Suleiman. So there are cats out there who are doing it. For me, I mean, obviously my bread and butter is a whole nother lane. So when it comes down to my set of priorities, I have to deal with the first career first.
Okay. I got you.
So I mean, the poetry has always been, it's always been a part of my life. It's always been a necessary avenue of expression. I was I was a poet even before I was an actor. My dad went to Lincoln University with Gil Scott-Heron and Brian Jackson. So I literally came out of the womb listening to Gil and the Last Poets. And I remember, I was like 6, 7 years old. Before ever taking any kind of acting class, I I made the declaration to my parents that I was either going to be a famous actor, a famous poet, or a famous basketball player. So like, it's safe to say that I was a poet before I was even an actor.
Yeah, and 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Hey
That's
man, I'm not mad.
that's great numbers right there. Let me ask you this: you have as far, especially with Black Hollywood, you are one of the actors that have stood firm in your beliefs. You made being black and being famous look comfortable. Has it cost you financially to be so pro-black?
Sure. Yeah.
Are they overt with it, or is it just you just kind of know?
Say it again.
Are they overt with it? Like you go to an audition and then like, bruh, we like you, but you too black for us.
No, not at all. Because there are, look, there are other actors, entertainers who are more black than me. So we have to look at how we look at black, because a lot of artists, a lot of actors, directors, writers come to the table with, I'm a black actor, right? I'm a black director. I'm a black storyteller. So I think in a lot of ways there are other artists who wear the cloak of blackness more than I do. For me, the way I approach my art, the way I approach my my craft, my career, is I'm an artist. Like I don't necessarily have to. I don't need to put the spin. I don't need to put the spin on my blackness. I don't need to wear my blackness, on my sleeve, because I just am black. And it's one of the things, like, when you look at when the Cosby Show first came out, right? There were black people who were like, man, they're not really black, right? Black people don't really live like that.
I've said that.
See, there you go. There
I'm
you go.
Be honest.
Yeah.
But I changed.
Yes.
As the show progressed, because me and you are about a year apart in age.
Okay.
I know I look like a fossil. Life's been hard. But anyway, like in the beginning, and my mother, it's not like we were broke. My mother was a nurse. We were doing good. But I'm like, dude, I've never seen a family like that before.
Right.
But as the years go on, that family became my family.
Yeah. Because also what happens is, before that show, you only saw black people on TV acting a certain way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So my whole point is, the Huxtables were very black without having to act black. They didn't have to do any of the black affectations. They were very clearly black. It was in their dress, it was in the music, it was in the art on the walls. They were black culture without having to put the affectation on it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I approach, like I said, my crafts, my career. I'm very much black. I may not be wearing dashiki and kente cloth and I may not bring the slang and the black affectations, but I very clearly own my blackness all day long.
You are who we wanted Cliff Huxtable to be forever. You have and I'm not gonna go off into all of the Mr. Cosby.
Yeah.
I'm not going into that.
Yeah.
But as far as what he was for our community, you have personified perfectly. So if nobody else tells you, bro, I have to tell you, I'm proud of you, bro.
I appreciate that, Joseph. Thank you. Brother.
Oh man, no, nobody calls me that, man. They call me Jobs.
Jobs. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh my God, man, it's like my mom. So Joseph. Okay. Since I was gonna try to stay away from the Cosby Show, because I've watched I've tried to do my research. I've watched
Yeah.
quite a few interviews, and it ends up being a Cosby fest, which is
Sure.
no disrespect, but you got other shit going on in life.
No doubt. No doubt.
But where's the Gordon Gartrell shirt? I need to know.
I think it's in the African American museum in DC, if I'm not mistaken.
I need that shirt, bro.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so what was your last normal year of school? Was it Angeles, Mesu?
My last normal year was Paul Revere Junior High School.
Okay.
Yeah, in Brentwood, California.
You talk to anybody from Paul Revere?
What? Yeah, my several of my really close friends are pre-Cosby friends that I went to school with. Before I moved to New York. Cosby. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
What was it like the first time you went home after becoming Theo?
So it was interesting because, like, I got an agent like sixth, seventh grade. Between sixth and seventh grade, I got an agent, and I started working a lot. I was doing like my very first audition was the show Matt Houston on ABC. So I did like Matt Houston, Fame. I was doing at one point I was doing 2 theater productions at the same time. And now I'm at school and like kids are starting to recognize me, being on TV. I was so at this point I'm like 12 years old and straight feeling myself, right? Right, like I'm 12, I'm that dude right now. Like I'm going to class and like kids like oh snap, he was he's on TV. And so I got the TV going and I got the theater going. So I'm doing 2 shows at the same time. Like I'm living my best life, as it were. You couldn't tell me jack. And I was really feeling myself. 8th grade year came around and I could not buy a job. Like I was going on auditions after audition, 3, 4 callbacks, getting real close, but not booking the gig. And that happened like most of my 8th grade year. And what happened for me was it was a swift lesson in humility. Because at, at 12, 13 years old, I was like, oh, wow, this is, as quick as it comes, it can just go.
Yeah.
And I came down off my high horse. I got that dose of reality. And just as I learned that lesson and brought myself back down, I booked Cosby. So I always say, had I booked Cosby a year earlier, I would definitely be a slightly different person.
And not better.
Not better. No.
Okay.
No. And then we got lucky because we shot Cosby. We shot Cosby in New York, so I had to move to New York to do the show, which put all of us, all of the kids growing up, it just put us in a great situation because we're on this, this hugely successful show, but we weren't in Hollywood. So we had to, and in New York, people don't care who you are in New York. So you can't try to be fly in New York because people just don't care. So the first studio where we were in Brooklyn didn't have a commissary. So at lunchtime, we had to walk out into the neighborhood to go get our lunch. When we, halfway through the run of the show, we ended up moving out to Queens, Kaufman Astoria. Their commissary was whack. So we would do what we're used to doing, leaving the studio, going out in the neighborhood and getting our food. So for us, it was a very different experience. And I think it affected us all in a profoundly positive way, more so being in New York than had we been in LA and been on that, hugely successful show and being in Hollywood.
Okay, so Cosby is over. You've been on the biggest show in the universe. You sit down. You guys decide to do what was it, Here and Now?
Yeah.
Okay, which low key is probably got the biggest collection of black superstars
Man,
ever.
before they were, yeah,
Before they were, you guys had Daryl Mitchell, who is probably the most underrated rapper actor in history. Most people don't know he was a rapper first.
yeah.
How before
Ruth
the
B. Chill.
accident.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yo, I
yeah.
watched a few episodes too the other day.
Okay. Oh, word. Where'd you see it? Where'd you find it?
I YouTubed.
Dig it.
Yes,
Right.
it's
Oh, wow.
somebody actually like you could tell that they watched it and filmed it. Looks like from a phone or something. I'm not sure, but
on the TV.
yeah, it looked great though. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow, wow,
You know, it was
wow,
just a
okay.
big box around the actual show.
Okay.
Yo, that was a really good show.
Yeah. Well, who else was on that show?
Lauren Hill,
Lauryn Hill. Yeah.
Mos Def,
Yes. 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 yes.
and I'm missing somebody.
Yeah.
Omar Epps.
Omar Epps. Yeah, man. Yeah. And Andy Patha Murkison.
I'm not sure who that is.
S.E. Patha Murkison. He was on Law and Order for like forever. She was on that show.
Yo, what happened though? What like?
So
I didn't get it. It was I literally watched several episodes.
Yeah.
and it was really funny.
yeah, man, that show. I think that show was my first serious deep dive with politics of television, of network television, because that was a show that Mr. Cosby, had produced under his commitment with NBC, and the Warren Littlefield, the cat who was the programmer at NBC at the time, didn't think the show was funny. He didn't like the show. Didn't think the show would do well. So when we shot the pilot, he came down to the taping, and the audience loved it. But he still felt, the show wasn't funny. So back then, when the networks at the time, there were four, they would shoot, they would shoot a bunch of pilots. Then they would have what's called pilot screening week, and they would, screen all of their pilots, and their pilots would get rated. That show Here and Now came in number 2 of all the pilots shot that year. So we thought, well, Cosby's over. My pilot comes in number 2. So clearly they're going to put my show on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, America is used to seeing my face on Thursday night. So we were like, the only question is, are they going to put us on before Different World or after Different World? So this cat still didn't, even though we were rated number 2, he had such a beef with the show and or Mr. Cosby, he put us on Saturday night. And mind you, I'm 22 years old. My audience is not going to be watching TV at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night.
I was out in the streets.
Like, man, come on. So so our ratings were obviously not bad. And then the show that rated the pilot that rated number 1 that they put on Thursday night got canceled after 2 weeks.
What show was that?
It was it was on for 2 weeks. You probably never saw it. It was a dude, it was some comedian. It was basically a white dude who was a DJ at a black radio station. It lasted 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
I don't
even remember the dude's name because I think he was a comedian,
Okay.
or he might have been a real radio personality. I don't remember. But the show lasted 2 weeks, so we were like, "Oh, great! Well, the number 2 show they're going to put in that slot." They didn't do that. They ended up putting. So we were on Saturday night, and then the show Out All Night came on after us with Morris Chestnut, Dwayne Martin, and Patti LaBelle.
Yeah.
So what they did was, instead of putting my show on Thursday night,
They put
that show on Thursday night.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that show Here and Now lasted half the season, just because Warren Littlefield wasn't. He just didn't dig the show, so he tanked the show.
Yeah, which like it sounds, and I wasn't there, but it sounds more of a, I don't want to see this brother this strong.
Well, I mean, here's the thing for me was, because the show was produced by Mr. Cosby. So it's like, so after 8 years of this man making this network all of this money, like there was a time they were calling NBC the network of Bill Cosby.
That's
right?
the problem.
Right. So I was like, wow, this man made this company all of this money and they turn around and hit him like that. It's like, okay, I see how this politic game goes.
Yeah, they will. What is it? I forget the saying, but they will shoot themselves in the foot intentionally.
Yeah, yeah.
If it means getting rid of person X, let's say.
Yeah, yeah.
So what was next for you professionally?
I went to go do some theater, and then after I was doing a play in Chicago, Free Fall. After that, I ended up doing Tyson, the HBO movie Tyson with Michael Jai White, who played Tyson. Okay. And then right after that, I did Tuskegee Airmen for HBO.
That was a good move. That was a good one right there.
Yeah. That was a good.
Let me ask you this: just what's more fulfilling, theater, music, or television?
Well, theater, because I started out in theater, so that's really my home base. Okay. Theater is probably my favorite platform because you're in front of an audience, you get immediate feedback, you get a chance to, work stuff out every night.
You ever been booed?
No.
Really? I got booed once, man. No. So I used to rap. I went to do this shit in Detroit. My cousin, man, and I got booed so bad. I still remember.
Oh my God. How old were you, man?
Oh, I was grown, bro. Like, yes, it hurt. Like, I had this song that I was supposed to do that was a banger, but the guy that mixed it, he didn't put the hook on there. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do this other song. Everything had just went wrong that day. And man, I got up there and did that show, man, and it was like, I got booed by like 12 people. That was even worse. Oh God! Like, it was nobody in the audience, but everybody in the audience booed me.
Oh wow! Wow! Yeah. That's wild.
So okay, so I'm sorry. Okay, so you do the theater.
Oh yeah, so I was gonna say so theater is great because like you do TV and you always like, man, I could have done that better, right? Mm-hmm. But it's already done. The cool thing about theater is you finish the show and you think, oh man, or you get a breakthrough. You're like, oh, all right, you know what? I learned something. You get to go back the next night and do it again. Right, so you got a nice, 3, 6, 8 week run. Okay. So you get to constantly, constantly develop this character, often in real time. So, and there's no cut, there's no editing, there's nothing to hide behind. So it's just you out there, and it's such an ensemble and collaboration. So I enjoy so the theater is my favorite platform. Okay. Television is my favorite paycheck. And then the music, because I do the music like it's strictly for the love, there's a certain autonomy that I have with the music because I've never been signed to a label. The music has always offered me a creative avenue of expression. A way that I can express myself in a way that I can't as an actor or as a director.
Okay. And for people that don't know, you and Dash, who I've interviewed, Dash is really dope. I still rock with Dash, too. I hit him up every now and then. You guys do like a tribute show to A Tribe Called Quest. You do the songs, and then you do the songs where the samples came from.
Yeah.
Okay. That can't pay worth a diddly, comparatively speaking.
Look, it pays, it pays good enough to get some bomb ass musicians, in the band. And these cats, they play all the time. So, they're constantly doing shows and, their checks accumulate, if we're talking in relation to what I get paid, on my, my TV stuff is a big difference. And that's also the thing about theater too. Theater doesn't pay much, but you don't do theater for the money. You do theater for the craft, because you have a passion for the craft. So for me, the same thing is with the music. I don't do the music for money. I do music because I have a passion for, for my music. I have a passion as a poet. I have a passion as a bass player. I have a passion as an artist to express myself. So I don't do it for the money. So
Why Tribe as opposed to, like, you're in Atlanta? Why not Outkast?
so we also do Outkast.
Really? I haven't seen that one. I need to see that one.
Right. So what happened with what happened with the Tribe? There's a cat, Craig Garrett, Next Level events in Atlanta. He's a promoter. He does a bunch of different events. So he had this idea to do a Tribe Called Quest show, and it came out of an argument he had with his sister or his cousin, who didn't like hip hop. And Craig was like, but you need to check out Tribe Called Quest. You need to check out, they're known for their samples, how they sample obscure jazz stuff. So he had this idea to do a Tribe. We got the jazz of a Tribe Called Quest. So it was his idea to put a band together, do the Tribe hits, but also play the original joints they sampled from. And when he talked to Kyrie Simmons, the MD, and told Kyrie about it, Kyrie was like, the only person who could pull that off is Dash. And for cats who don't know, Dashiell Smith is an amazing human being. But he's a trumpet player. He plays trumpet for Roy Ayers. He's an MC. He's a singer. And the show that we do, he and I, we share the vocal responsibilities. So I do half the show. I do vocals with him, the verses, and then the other half I'm playing bass.
Okay, who's who?
We trade off. I mean, he does. When I come, I do a lot of. No, we trade off, because I do five verses on some songs, and I do tips verses on some songs. So we just kind of mash it up.
Better MC, Fife or Tip?
Ooh, I have to go. I have to go for Fife.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think the first
slept on.
Yeah. I think the first album,
The People's Travels.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was, and then Midnight. I mean, Low End Theory, but Midnight Marauders. I think that was the one where Fife just like.
He got tired of hearing the shit about being as dope.
Yeah, Fife soared, and he took it.
Yeah.
But I think there's something really interesting about Q-Tip's vibe, though. Right, like he may not be on anybody's list of like top MC, but he brings such a vibe that you can't really sleep on him.
He's like hip hop's Miles Davis. There may be technically better musicians
than Miles,
but he's just got it.
Yeah, it's undeniable.
Yeah, but man, the 5-footer, bro.
Oh man, yeah.
Who you listening to now? Rap wise, hip hop wise.
Yeah. I have a love-hate relationship with hip hop, and it's funny because on all of my albums, there's always a piece where I talk about my love-hate relationship with hip hop. Right now, I'm listening to Black Thought. I listen to Tribe because of what we're doing. I've been digging into Outkast because we started doing this Outkast tribute show, so I had to really do a deep dive in their music. But like, I have part of my thing with hip hop, just a lot of black music. Period. Now. when you listen to the content of so much of our black music, it's really pretty anti-black.
Yeah.
When you really get down to it, like let's strip the beats away, let's stop bullshitting, right? Let's stop coming up with excuses, and let's really listen to what black music, listen to the messages, listen to what black music is telling us. And it's not telling us anything good or positive about ourselves.
I think that the radio has made us lazy, and the internet has allowed. Like, there's an artist I'm gonna interview next month. She's actually a physician. C Red is her name. Look her up on Instagram, and she's got what she calls White Coat Wednesdays.
How do you spell it?
C Red, just C and
Oh,
then
C
red.
and red. Okay.
Yep. Very, very. She's what you're looking for.
Okay.
You know, but she's not. You know, she's not talking about her booty hole is brown.
Gotcha.
So she's not going to be on, Radio 1 is not going to pick her up.
Gotcha.
Odds are.
Moo Fresh. Are you have the Moo Fresh?
I've never heard of Moo Fresh.
Oh. Mu Fresh. Moo Fresh. She's from Philly. She rock with the roots. There's a really dope. She has a really dope Tiny Desk show as well. Yeah, well, she rock with roots. But Moo Fresh is. She is Erica. She's Jill. She's Angie Stone.
Oh.
She's Lauren. Oh. And she's Missy, all rolled up in one human being. She's a beast. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh. And my cousin is watching this. She said, "We got the next generation. We got some artists, and she wants me to mention Eddie B, who is really, like, my little cousin is really fucking dope. Tell Eddie B he needs to be consistent." And I've been I love him, and I love him as an artist. You can't quit. I don't care. Talent means nothing without effort.
Yeah, word.
You talk about you touch the subject of insecurity a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is that from a personal standpoint? Because I can't see what Malcolm-Jamal would be insecure about. Like, matter of fact, and you said that you were in a relationship and you allowed yourself to be disrespected. How?
Not speaking up for myself. Being a good man, right? Being what I felt, I thought a good man is supposed to be. And in that, not being forthright about things that were not necessarily okay with me. There is so many of us were raised in ways that we may not necessarily consider traumatic, right? But and I'm making a general statement, so you may have some people watching this who may not agree in their particular individual situation. But when we think about our parents' generation and how they were raised, right? They were raised by parents who went through trauma.
Absolutely.
Who were raised by parents who went through trauma. Who were raised by parents who went through trauma. So there's this intergenerational trauma that continues to get passed on. And there were some, and I'm not throwing my mom under the bus at all, because my mother is, probably, I would say 79-80% the reason I'm the man I am today. I give my mother props all day long. But I was raised a certain way.
Yeah.
And in this particular relationship, what I had come to realize is that there were things that I was trying to be okay with because of the way that I was raised.
Yeah.
And and even my mom and I even had a conversation about this. But there were because she was the mother and I was the son. There were a lot of ways that I could not express myself or express my displeasure. Right? Like, how do you tell your mom you're not pleased with how she's talking to you, or how she's disciplining you? How do you tell your mom that, right?
Yeah,
So
you might catch your ass whooping.
right. So what I found, it took me some time to realize, toward the end of the relationship and being out of the relationship, was there were still so many of those things that I had carried. And just so many things that I wasn't respecting myself and my space enough to speak up for myself.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Or it's either you're gonna speak up for yourself at some point, and when you do, it's a lot worse than had you spoken up for yourself when that problem arose.
The pressure cooker, baby.
Yeah, and now it's like, oh, well, since I'm on it, now I've been saving shit, so I got a couple of years worth of things I kind of want to say right now. Yeah, and it turns ugly.
Yeah, so I definitely take responsibility on my end for not having spoken up sooner. Yeah, because like you said, you keep about it in, and then when it comes out, it's it's like, damn, who's this dude?
Yo, you have and I know you're married, so I want to say it respectfully, but you've done well over the years as a black celebrity. And what you don't hear is a lot of of your business.
Mm-hmm.
How did you accomplish that?
Again, I go back to my mom, my mom and my dad. I can't leave my dad out. My parents raised me. So my parents separated when I was 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They finally got divorced when I was 6. And my dad's been remarried for like 40 something years. But my mother and father have been like brother and sister my whole life.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They've been like best friends. My dad lived in Chicago. We were in LA and then New York. But my mom and dad, they maintained a relationship that had a profound impact on me and my relationships.
Okay.
And the way I interact with women. And for me, there is a respect factor that I've learned just from watching my parents.
Okay.
And now I'm a guy, so there are also ways that I was very much a guy and not necessarily as respectful as other ways.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Right. So I'm not gonna say I was an angel in all of my scenarios, but I've always been a good dude, and
Okay.
I've also been very blessed and very fortunate and experienced enough to also have good judgment of character. Right. So I've always attracted good people in my life, and when you treat good people right, good people, I always try to leave. I always try. No, that sounds cliche. So I'm gonna say that. Some cliche bullshit. But I just always try to.
You've done
be
a
respectful.
gazillion interviews, bro. How can you not say cliche shit?
I know, yeah. But I think I've been with, I tend to, I've had really good people in my life. And I know I can go. I know I can leave this earth at peace, knowing that I have not done people wrong.
Oh, you better than me. I've been an asshole. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I was complete asshole for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
No real reason. I just wasn't shit. I was an ain't shit dude.
What changed?
I've got 3 daughters,
Yeah, there you go.
and I didn't want my daughters finding me.
Yeah,
So I tried to make a conscious effort to, early on it was just keep things away from them. But the older I got, I realized the older they got, I need to make lifestyle changes in how I behave.
yeah.
And being honest with my mama, having real conversations with my mother, and my mother went through a lot, and her being honest with me about what she went through.
Yeah, yeah.
That it just, and then it I tell people all the time, you pretty much date the same person over and over and over. You learn how to deal with that personality better as you mature. So the personality traits are the same. It's just, okay, you know what? I got a knowledge base now about myself and about that personality trait. I know how to deal with that better.
Yeah.
So it's just getting older, man. Just life.
Yeah. No doubt.
Let me ask you this. Your father made you read the book American Negro.
Great American Negroes.
The Great American Negroes.
Yeah.
Have you thought about the fact that, let's say in 2050, you're going to be in that book? You're going to have your own chapter. And if so,
Here's the book right here.
wow. What? There you go. Wow. That's awesome.
Man,
What's your chapter going to read like?
Ooh. I don't know. We'll see what AI comes up with.
Okay. No, let's say they come to you and they say, Malcolm, we want you to start the chapter off. What do you start?
Wow, Jobs.
Well, I didn't want to just ask you a million questions about the Cosby Show, bruh.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, that's good. You know what? I don't know. Like it's always interesting to hear how people see me. And like when we talk about you mentioned the insecurity aspect. And I was just having a conversation with a buddy of mine really a couple of days ago. So even though I was aware of the impact, going back to Cosby, even though during the show I was aware of the impact that show was having on America and specifically Black America, when you're in the middle of it, it's hard to really appreciate the totality of it because you're there smack in the middle of it. So as I've gotten older, I have gained even much more of an appreciation for the show and everything that the show has done for the culture. But growing up, I always paid attention to, even though the term wasn't haters back then, right? But the haters of that time, that's what I always gravitated toward. And I think for me, it was maybe it was a device that I was using for humility. Like, okay, let me not get all caught up in all the positive that people are saying about me. So I'm listening to these motherfuckers. I remember being like 15, 16 years old in Chicago, and this dude called me America's favorite white black boy.
Wow.
So I grew up listening to, the people calling me corny, right? Like I grew up and, the bad boys were getting all the love, right? The nice guys weren't getting the love. Like, the chicks wanted the bad boys. So for some reason, I let so much of that capture my attention instead of, all the positives. And I think I got to a point, like literally, I'm talking within the last 10 years, 8 to 10 years, finally getting to a point where I'm comfortable enough in my own skin and realize that I don't need to use the device of listening to haters for humility.
Yo, that's powerful, bro.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's nuts.
Like that. I'm glad y'all didn't have to go through that shit during the social media age. Cause, bro, I can't even imagine.
No, I can't even.
Yeah, that's just. And just, what's Lisa Bonet doing? I loved her. Like, I literally, oh my God, everybody I knew loved Lisa Bonet.
Yeah. I haven't talked to Lisa. I need to reach out to her. I know she got divorced, so I've not reached out to her since then. That was like a big news thing. But Lisa's always been my G. Lisa and Keisha have always been the homies, man.
That's dope.
Yeah, Keisha to this day. That's our daughters are a few months apart, and our daughters love each other, and it's so surreal for us looking at our daughters like this is fucking crazy right now.
It's crazy. Seeing her. Oh, I forgot the show. Jesus Christ, it's on BET 7 trillion times a day. Now that she's on, is that her?
No, she's in that the House of Pain world.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate the wife on House of Pain. Oh my God, she's just bothers me. I'm sorry.
No, I don't watch it, so I don't know anything.
Really? You've never watched it?
I mean, I think I tried to watch it. I tried to watch it once, years ago. But it's just
totally unrelated. This is a book I got for you. The Echo from Dealey Plaza. I entered my first interview, and this was almost 10 years ago. It's a guy named Abraham Bolden.
Echo of Dealey Plaza?
Yep, Dealey. Okay. You're going to want to make this into a movie. I swear to God. This guy, first black man to guard the president in the Secret Service, one of the first black Pinkerton detectives, and they tried to kill the man. Just a phenomenal story. Wow. And I've been thinking about you in that role for damn near a decade, bro.
Wow. Okay, I'll check that out. Wow.
Yes. I don't know. Totally. Yeah. Kid J. I'm sorry. Oh, Kid J is another artist. Just really.
Kid J. Okay.
And I hate to just be promoting. I don't typically do that. But I know you're looking for music that's different.
I'm looking.
So I don't get nothing out of it. I ain't managing nobody. I'm making no money. I'm pretty poor. However. If I see somebody dope, I tell other people about their dope.
Yeah, no doubt. Word. Yeah.
Sure. Let's see. In Hiding in Plain View, you said vulnerability can be a scary thing even when you're on the mend. Black boys boast bravado not to seem broken, and often so do black men. Are you guilty of that?
Not in my adult life, and not so much in that particular stanza. I think I've definitely been guilty of places of not allowing myself to be vulnerable, which I guess is that first stanza. So yeah, I guess I am guilty of that. I have been guilty of that.
Oh, you
Yeah.
say some really deep shit, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like the one thing you were saying, and I didn't write it down, but you were saying if you were in a room full of friends, you wouldn't notice the hater.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to
You know,
myself, first
yeah.
off, I can put all my friends on literally one hand. I may not notice the hater, but they're gonna notice the hater. If they're really your friends, they're all gonna point that person out and remove that person for you. You know, and I know we've only got an hour, man, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. And first off, I gotta thank your moms. Like, absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
truly, truly, truly.
Yeah,
Mason, I want to say thank you. Dash, thank you. This has been a long, long, long time in the making.
It has to. Jobs. Thank you for your patience, brother. I've got, we're going back and forth. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And I really wasn't, and I know I wasn't. I was not blowing you off. Just life.
Yo, before we go,
yeah.
The Resident,
Yeah.
favorite episode.
Ooh, I think I got a few. I think probably my favorite episode is when Nina left.
Is that the sister?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
My wife's upstairs. I'm gonna be quiet. Jeez. Oh Lord. Oh my God. Yes. Why did they do that to you?
She wanted.
I was angry.
No, she wanted to be off the show. Yeah. Yeah. Shawnette went to Yale drama school, and fresh out of Yale, she was in. She had a bit part in Black Panther. Then she had a recurring role on Billions, and then she booked The Resident. And I think for her, because she is such a powerful and dynamic actor, I think for her, being on a medical drama was just too confining. So she wanted to be free to go do other things. Now, mind you, she left the show and went straight to go do Indiana Jones 5, and has been the talk of the Cannes Film Festival. Like she's where she wanted to be. She's killing the game.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We all know about Malcolm and Eddie, and you guys, the story behind that. I don't think we need to revisit the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious though, how did they sell you on taking that show?
So Eddie and I we had the same agency. We're at the same agency, and so when you have an agency, like agencies will try to do package deals. So if they've got, say in this case, they had 2 actors and the showrunner, all at the same agency. So if they could put together a package deal, the agency gets a bigger percentage, and the clients don't have to pay 10% to that agent because they're already getting money from the show. So, Eddie had a holding deal with TriStar, and they were trying to do something with him, and then somebody came up with this bright idea of, hey, let's do like a 90s urban odd couple. We have Eddie. Who else could we get to do the other role? So when so I wasn't sure about it when it was first brought to me, but I was like, okay, well, I'll meet with the cat. Let's like sit down and break bread. So when we sat down and talked about the show and talked about what our morals and value systems were, I thought we were on the same page. And I'm sure he thought we were on the same page too. And then we started working, and we just realized we were not on. we were just not on the same page, like anywhere. And and we were both. I'm in my late 20s. He's in his early 30s, and For him, it's a come up. For me, it's a come up because my last show that was mine was Here and Now, so now I'm on Malcolm and Eddie, and and I also thought that they were that UPN, because they knew my history and knew my background. I actually thought UPN was interested in doing a show that was not going to be a stereotypical black sitcom approach. So I had all these ideas of being able to elevate the portrayal of people of color in the way that Cosby did. Even though UPN's whole marketing scheme was the antithesis, right? So I went in there as Don Quixote. Like, it should have been Don Quixote starring Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Like, that's what it was. But the thing about the what came out of it though was because I was so miserable on one hand that I needed another outlet, right? Because I was acting, I was directing, I was producing the show. I was like, that's when the poetry lane opened up for me. It's like, oh, I need this avenue of expression over here. And I started playing bass. Then I started my band. So the whole musical side of what I do, even though I was already doing poetry, but the whole musical side of what I do came out of that experience.
Okay. So,
people have heard me talk about it. Eddie and I didn't get along, whatever. But also, what often gets cut out of that conversation is, even though Eddie and I didn't necessarily get along, every night when we had to tape the show,
y'all prayed.
We held hands and prayed. But now, we're both, and again, we were in our 20s, late 20s, early 30s. So now we're on our grown man shit, and it's a whole different, that was a lifetime ago. We both, we've had conversations. We both know, where we were and what our parts were in that, in that shit. But we're, it's all love. It's all love now.
The joint with Tracy. How is Tracy Ellis Ross?
She's dope. She's great.
God.
Yeah, man. She's good people. She's good people, man.
I'm definitely a fan. Okay, yeah. And you cut me off whenever you're ready to go, bro.
All right, cool.
I'll talk and talk. Are you tired of the Cosby Show questions? Or is that just something you've resolved yourself to, I'm going to forever get these?
It is what it is, man. Like, I can't ignore the cultural impact that has the cultural impact, but the impression that show made on the world, but specifically our culture. Because we all grew up on the show, including me. Like, there's on my third album called Selfless, I have a song, a joint there called Brand New Day. It's me, Lettucey, and Robert Glasper. And at the end of the second verse, I actually say that I'm holding out for an iconic love like Cliff and Claire. And I put that record out. I was 45 years old. So that show, and again, I said Cliff and Claire. I didn't say, I said Cliff and Claire, right? So, influenced by the same, television couple that everybody else was. Now, mind you, the month I put that record out, I met my Claire. I met my wife the month I put that record out. Like, I spoke it into existence.
Okay, let me ask you this. When did you know?
I love to tell the story. People used to always say, when you know, you know. People who've been married forever or just been together forever, they always say, when you know, you know. I have been in long-term relationships more of my adult years than I haven't. 4, 5, 6, 7.5 year relationships. So I would always be the one to tell you, you need to be with somebody for like 4 or 5 years, you know, so you can really know who that person is before you make that kind of commitment. I would be the one to tell you that. My wife, I knew in 5.5 months. And at that 5.5 month mark, I was like, that's what they're talking about. Like, it's a real thing. When you know, you know.
Who'd you call first?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I tried, bro. I tried.
That's a great Ooh. Ooh. That's a great question. I don't recall. It could have been my best friend Chris. It could have been well, it could have been, so one of my one of my dearest friends, and for a while, like, spiritual compass, is India Irie. Like, that's my homie. We have shared and vented to each other. She helped me through 2 breakups. She might have been, I gotta call her that, she might have been, if she was not the first, she was one of the first.
When you call her, do me a small favor. Tell her, please come on the show.
I will pass that on.
I love India Irie. And what she said about I want to say it was the BET Awards.
The Essence Music Festival.
Oh, I'm sorry, Essence. Might as well be the same damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it. I agree with her, but I think it's misplaced. And I think that she should be blaming us, black men, more so than those sisters. We're supporting it. We're the ones driving it. We're the ones promoting it.
Black women are supporting it too, though. I mean, so it's not just black men. Again, that's why I go back to black music. I go back to the conditioning, right? And again, there's I can't just generalize black music, but I can definitely damn sure say most of it.
Let me ask you this, Dan. I had Big Gip on the show, I don't know, maybe a month or 2 ago, and my question to him was, how come we don't blame Radio 1? Like, we get into this who's at fault, black men, black women, but Radio 1 is supposed to be our radio station. It's the #1 station in our demographics, no matter where you live at. Why do they get off scot-free?
Look, why do the artists get off scot-free?
They don't.
I don't know. I mean, most rap artists I know, nobody's blaming them or the record companies. We're supporting that. We're supporting music that that celebrates misogyny, that celebrates black on black violence, degradation of our culture. Right? We're supporting the music. Like, one of the reasons I can't listen to hip hop anymore, because I'm tired of being called nigga every other fucking line. Right? I'm tired of hearing about bitches and hoes.
I'm horrible. I am. Yeah. I say nigga every 12 seconds.
Okay, yeah. Well, you were good today.
I know, because I knew that's not your thing.
Right? Nah, man.
So I'm not gonna beat you over the head and be like nigga.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. But
I listen.
We don't. We don't. Like, remember C. Dolores Tucker?
I was gonna ask you, was she right?
Come on. She was dead ass. She was dead ass.
We killed her back then.
Yes.
I hated her.
Yeah.
Because Tupac hated her.
That's right. Sure.
And I think, and I can't speak for the brother, rest in peace, and my favorite MC of all time, but I'm absolutely certain if that man were still alive, he would apologize. And he would say that she was right.
I don't know. He got so caught up in trying to be a gangster.
They
He got
spent
so
$1 million to get
he
the man
got-
out of prison.
Right. He got so imagine
riding
the money,
with you, too.
imagine the money he made for them.
Yeah, but
Right.
I'm right. If
But-
you spend $1 million to get me out of prison, I'm kind of gonna ride with you.
You know? So that's I mean, don't even get me started. Like that's a whole nother that's a whole nother thing. But yes, C. Dolores Tucker was right. She was right. She was 100% right. She was 1,000% right. And here we are now.
She went about it like most old heads go about things. In a you should listen to me because I've been on this earth longer than you format.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not the right way to go about it. She had the right message, she was the wrong messenger.
Mm.
You know, and had she, been aware of that aspect and chosen some people to help her with that message that were a little bit more palatable, I think it may have went over a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't know. I think record companies have more muscle than that. Record companies saying, "Hey, we're paying you this money. We're going to dictate to you what your content is going to be."
And so literally, there was the guy, one of the guys from Souls of Mischief I interviewed, and they were in Jive offices when Jive got the call from he doesn't know who, but they were literally told, okay, it stops. You're either going to make this bullshit music or you're going to go the completely opposite. There's not going to be a healthy in between.
Wow. Yeah.
So make no mistake, there was a concerted effort.
Oh yeah. So we don't blame the artists for being puppets, right? And being perpetrators, and perpetuating, getting paid, making millions of dollars, perpetuating these stereotypical images. Because remember, we grew up before NWA, right? These, the generation underneath us, what they know is NWA and gangster rap and post gangster rap. Because when we grew up, hip hop was about telling tall tales, right?
Well, no, because NWA, let me see. I went to a Snoop concert when he first came out for my 21st birthday.
Okay.
So NWA was my teenage years, the years that really counted.
Okay.
So like I was, and they made it sound palatable or acceptable because they were telling their story. Well, niggas been using that same thing for 40 years now, 50 years now.
But they weren't
telling
they
my
weren't,
story.
They weren't telling their story. They didn't live in
They were
Compton.
not.
Maybe Ren might have lived in Compton.
Easy, from my understanding, was the business.
Sure, yeah.
Other than that,
sure. I mean, Dre was the World Class Wrecking Crew. I mean, Turn Off the Lights that was everybody's jam.
It was, and they had on sequins and makeup.
Yeah, and eyeliner. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
But then somehow it got turned into now life trying to imitate art, and then 50 Cent got shot 9 times, so now that makes the story real. And then just the messages, the messaging. It's like there's the legendary Black Ice poet. He's one of the Def Poetry Jam on Broadway poets.
Okay.
He has. I cannot remember the poem, but it's a poem he did on Def Poetry Jam, and I gotta find it because you gotta look it up. He explains succinctly what happened with hip hop and how the record labels were, intentionally putting the dope in the music. But you just have to see it because and this was back in, whenever Def Poetry Jam was on.
Yo, have you seen they clone Tyrone?
No, I saw.
Yo,
is it funny?
No, I mean there was some funny parts. But you have got. I implore you. You have got to watch this movie,
Wow.
bro.
Okay.
I watched it yesterday, and I've been thinking about this movie since. It is absolutely everything that this conversation encapsulates in a movie form and more.
Where'd you see it?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I'll even give you a password if you need one.
Man.
And at the same time, they institutionalized. So the fact that niggas
Okay.
get these big record
So
deals,
right
they
now
win.
it's coming up as Black Ice Deaf Poetry 1.
Okay. Yeah, I'm absolutely gonna check that out.
Oh, Coast Contra. I'm listening to them all over YouTube. I can't not listen to them. You hip on them? You hip on
I am not.
Coast Contra?
Oh, what is my? Oh, I got one. I got one more for you. I'm gonna let you go. Connie's
Okay.
son.
Who?
Connie's son.
Connie's son. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Dude, out of he's actually out of Cleveland.
Connie's son. Word.
Oh,
Okay.
completely different type of cat. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway, bruh, this has been an absolutely phenomenal conversation.
Yeah, man. I'm glad we finally got to do this, man.
Me too, man. This is just has been well worth the wait.
Yeah, dig it.
You know,
Dig it.
if y'all don't know out there, man, I've begged this man 17 trillion times.
And I kept saying, "No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do. I promise you, we're gonna do it. Just be patient with me." And, you know,
It's been worth it, bro.
Yeah,
It absolutely has, man.
Good.
If people want to get in touch with you, how do they go about doing that?
I'm on IG, Malcolm-Jamal War. Now because I was trying to be fancy, but at the time, that's all that would fit because I have a long name.
18 letters.
Yeah. There you go. Twitter is Malcolm-Jamal War. My Facebook page is Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Although I hear that there are a couple of fake accounts.
You got a few, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once you get one shut down, another one pops up. But I think if anyone who knows me can tell by what's being posted if it's really me or not. If you know what I stand for and what my content is. So those are the ways. My music is Malcolm-Jamal Warner's Miles Long. A lot of times if you go to Spotify or any of the streaming services, and if you just put in my name, Malcolm-Jamal Warner, you'll get features I've done, you'll get collaborations, but to actually hear my music, my albums, you have to do Malcolm-Jamal Warner's Miles Long.
Bruh, we have got to get somebody to do that dope video.
Word. No, you're absolutely right. I got to get on that. I've been sleeping.
Please.
I got to get.
Let me know. Hit me up. I will literally drive down there to be like. When I say I love that song, I love that song.
Oh, word. I appreciate it.
Yes. On that note, man, you have a phanomenal day. I'm not sure if there's anything I could possibly do for Malcolm-Jamal Warner, but if there is, bruh, you got my number.
You got it.
And you text me, bruh. Like that was so fucking dope. I was like, oh God, hey, Malcolm-Jamal Warner. I just fanned out.
That's hilarious.
I'm just telling you, it's the truth.
That's great.
Anyway, man.
All right, brother.
Appreciate you,
well.
man.
Yeah.
You have a good one, bro.
All right, you too, Jobs. All right.
All right.
Peace.
Peace. Yo, let me just off the bucket list. Come on, bro. Like I tell y'all every week, man. Nothing but legends on Intellectually Petty Radio. I am Jobs. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If I didn't get to your comment, I kind of was ignoring you. I'm sorry. It's fucking Malcolm-Jamal Warner. What was I supposed to do? Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the interview. Do me a favor, if look up on YouTube, like, subscribe, and all that crap. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Shout out to my cousins, man. And Janae, what's up? Oh my goodness, I'm a cry a little bit. Oh, big bruh. Oh my god, the whole family. Oh, I got a haircut and everything. She was Malcolm-Jamal Warner. He texted me. He literally texted my. I don't even remember giving him my phone number. Anyway, yo, Jay, I'm sorry I didn't. You know what? Screw you, Janae. Oh, absolutely, Marsha. Absolutely. Anyway, man, let me get out of here. I'm hungry, I'm old, I'm fat, and I got to get up in the morning to go to work. On that note, man, y'all have a good one. I am out.